Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the PB Political Podcast. I'm Eshan Pokhrel.
My name's Cameron Cummings.
And today we're here with episode number 85, 15 away from 100. I think we might get close to 100 by Election Day, so hopefully we'll get it nice and tidy there. But today we're talking about the DNC. We're talking about RFK Jr., if he will be in the race this time, even tomorrow. And we're also talking about just the general state of things. So how's your general state of things, Cameron? What's been going on?
Really excited. I think the DNC was pretty good. A lot of people showed up. It also happened. It also went on for a really long time. It went from 8 to midnight.
Yeah, last night was a long one. But yeah.
I'm just looking forward to it. I'm actually more excited for this debate than ever before. They both agreed to it. It is. I think it's CBS still.
I think it's ABC. I think the vice presidential debate's CBS though.
Okay.
So
I got those two confused. I'm also excited to see Tim Walz and JD Vance. I'm excited to see both of them because both of them are polar opposites of each other. Also, RFK is dropping out. His vice president, I'm blanking on her name. Doesn't even matter. They didn't really have a chance.
Doesn't matter.
Said on the podcast was oh yeah. Well, actually, he tried to go and endorse Kamala, and they were like, heck no, we don't rock with you. So then he got on his hands and knees and crawled to Trump and was like, please give me a job. And Trump said yes, allegedly. And now he is supposed to have a conference in an hour at 1 o'clock.
Yeah. And
endorse Trump and drop out of the race. And, Eshan, would you like to tell them what alleged job he may get if Trump wins?
Yeah, so the reason we're laughing is because Donald Trump Jr., President Trump's son, went on some podcast, and he was out there saying that they would love to see RFK Jr. as CIA director for President Trump, which is just kind of cruel irony. Although maybe we'll get some real answers on what really happened to JFK and RFK the first. But yeah, we'll start with the DNC. Actually, we'll start with this RFK stuff because this is kind of crazy. I did have hope in RFK. I will say, not in that I supported him, but in that we would finally have a real third-party candidate. And I think it made sense at first.
You see a debate with him in it.
I really wanted to see a debate with him in it.
Did I chance of winning? No. But did I want to see a debate of Absolutely. A third stand up there? Yes.
So my thing was I really wanted the optics of a third debate. We haven't had one since 1992. But also, there was a time, when we started the Trump-Biden-Kennedy polling really in the spring, you were getting Kennedy around 20%. It wasn't too far-fetched, and I honestly thought that this was going to be a possibility. If President Biden stayed in the race through the DNC into the September debate, which was already agreed upon by Trump and Biden, RFK was qualified for it. He actually did hit the qualification, polling thresholds, and everything for it. So he would have been there in theory. I think that in that scenario, he would have actually had a chance at being competitive because you have Biden, who's almost dead, Trump, who 60% of the country probably loathes, and then just a Kennedy, a guy that looks like a Kennedy, has the name Kennedy, and just isn't one of the other two. I think in that scenario, RFK could have done really well. That scenario didn't happen, obviously, because Biden was either forced out or was smart enough to bow out. And now we have seen that RFK Jr. and his running mate, Nicole Shanahan, that's who it is, who no one really... Also, why is Nicole Shanahan going on podcasts by herself and saying something like this? What is going on?
Wouldn't you think RFK would be the one to say this? But no.
Yeah.
I'm scrolling through Instagram, I get a random clip of RFK's vice president saying yeah, man, we're going to go support Trump. I was like,
it's wild. It's wild stuff. Yeah, it's just it's crazy that she's just out there talking. I don't know. But he has officially withdrawn from the Arizona ballot. He's addressing the nation press conference from Arizona today. And also, kind of notably, President Trump has said there will be a special guest at his rally in Glendale, Arizona, which is really close to Phoenix, tomorrow. Or maybe it's today, actually. Maybe it might be tonight. So if that's the... timeline events that we can assume that RFK Jr. will be ending up. Yeah, it is today. So Trump will be possibly unveiling RFK Jr. as a new ally, which I think is just kind of wild because, and we can talk about this for a little bit, this is kind of crazy just from a political view because RFK is always I didn't know much about him before he ran for president, But looking back on his
Anybody
history,
did.
he's an environmental lawyer, like actually like a successful environmental lawyer, and is like a classical liberal. He's a Kennedy Democrat. So like, he's a pretty typical Democrat. He's like what Joe Biden was before he was president, essentially.
Yeah.
So how is he the switch that he's made is kind of crazy. I think it's just kind of, I don't know, you can say what you think, but I think it's just kind of like he's just bitter that the Democrats forced him out of the primary, and now he's just going full bore the opposite way.
Yeah, I would say that, but also like, I think it's also I would say bitter as well that when he reached out saying, "Hey, I will throw my support behind Kamala Harris," when they were like, "Nah, we don't need your support," he was like, "I bet," and then really jumped the opposite way to Trump, which like you said, he's a typical Democrat. Like he does not seem the kind of person that would sway to be a part of MAGA or Trump's thing, because Trump right now has leaned fully into MAGA insanity. Like the typical Republican is not voting for Trump saying like, yes, he supports my beliefs and what I even believe in. It's just they've voted Republican so long, they just don't want to vote Democrat, or they're not going to vote.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Kennedy, a lot of his base, I wonder what a Kennedy endorsement, Kennedy's went from like polling at like 15, like high numbers, 15%, 10 maybe, and he's dropped. Ever since Kamala Harris has joined the race, he hasn't really gotten above 6% nationally. He actually has never, in the 538 average, has never been above 6% in the national average. So he's really lost steam, and this is important for two reasons. Because one, again, like if you endorse 5% is a lot, though. I will say, if he did end up pulling 5% in the general election, in an election this tight, which if you guys checked out our new forecast, first presidential forecast, we have a very close lead for Kamala Harris, and with tilt margins in 4 states. Even if he did endorse, and whoever he endorses will likely get a small bump, but like you're saying, a lot of those voters probably just won't vote. Like the people that are tired of both parties, clearly tired of Trump and, maybe even Harris. And you could tell that a lot of
they would lean to Harris. I feel like Kennedy's base has 2 options. Trump is not one of those options at all. I feel like Kennedy's base is far from MAGA as possible. Trump is not like a Mitt Romney or John McCain. He is his own entity. They would either go Kamala Harris, or they would just shrug their shoulders and not show up.
Maybe third party, Jill Stein.
Outside of this Kennedy thing, this is like a little side tangent. I'm really curious whether Trump wins or loses. It doesn't really matter. This is the end of MAGA itself. There's not going to be a Don Jr. or the Trump,
Well, we say
dynasty.
that. Who knows, honestly? Really. You never know. It's wild. Yeah, it's wild. Like
that there will be like a Kennedy dynasty for the Trump family. What is their next move? Because at the next election, Trump would be what, like 83?
Yeah, 82. I think he'll go again. I think he'll run again if he loses.
He'll be coming off 2 back-to-back losses.
Yeah.
So what is their? I feel like if Trump wins, they'll like slowly phase out of MAGA and try to build up the next person, whoever that may be.
Yeah,
because MAGA can only truly be run by Trump. People that try to like piggyback off it aren't as successful. It can only truly be run by him. It's a one-man show.
Exactly.
And I feel if he loses, it'll be a swift break. They will cut all ties, and I don't know. I'm just really curious to see whether he wins or loses. That's another thing I'm also looking at is the shift of the Trump, basically the Republican Party to the Trump Party, to turning back to either what it was or a new era. What would the new era be after, 12-ish years of
Trump? Yeah, I agree. I think, so I will say one thing. I think we've kind of seen the drop off for Kennedy coming from people that have switched back to the Democratic Party, like the never Joe Biden people. Because just he's dropped like 6-7 percentage points. That might be a lot. I don't know if that's all disaffected Democrats, but I think a good chunk of that number is already baked in. But that being said, I don't think 4% is going back to Trump, or 5% is not going back to Trump. That's not going to put him in the lead. It might put him in the lead in some states, though, which is 1,000 votes one way or the other, 10,000 votes one way or the other could make differences in a couple of states. So you never know, yeah. And I think, to the Trump point, if he loses, he'll have ran in 2016 and won, 2020 and lost, and then 2024 and lost. I think William Jennings Bryan was probably the last person who ran for that many elections and lost more than he won. FDR obviously ran for 4, and he won all of them. William Jennings Bryan, the Cross of Gold speech guy, 1896, I think, was one. 1900, I think he ran successively. Then he ran one more time in the future, and he never won an election. But he was the nominee for the Democratic Party 3 times. But he didn't win anything. So I don't know if he'd keep. I think Trump would probably just run again, honestly, if he lost, because I mean, like, he wouldn't stop, right? You wouldn't think that. I just don't think he'd stop. I mean, I don't think he'd win. I don't think he'd be the nominee, but I don't think he'd stop trying. He could also be in jail, so you never know, honestly.
Yeah.
He could really be in jail. You never... this is crazy. Like, he genuinely could be in jail post-election, I guess. Which is kind of weird. It's just a weird, like...
No, that's the thing. And the more I think about it, it's also another thing. The Supreme Court said any president can't... It was something like, can't have legal action taken against them. Can't be held, for criminal actions. So 2 things can happen. Either A, he loses, and that no longer is applicable to him, so the lawsuits just keep on coming and coming and coming. Or B, he wins, and then once those 4 years are up, people are just sitting on those cases, just twiddling their thumbs.
He can just pardon himself.
From to step out of office, they just slam him with, you know what I mean? I feel like he's in a bad...
he could pardon himself, maybe. I mean, again, no one... It's so weird. Like, we're such in unprecedented times. If he wins, he could... Pardons himself,
I mean... I think that'd be the funniest thing I've ever seen.
He'd probably be able to, but no one knows. So, yeah, it's going to be crazy. But this has all become possible because RFK Jr. might be sending his small, fair enough margins over to Trump. I'm curious to see if he will be at the rally. I don't really watch Trump rallies because it's really hard to get through because Trump kind of just says the same thing over and over again. But it will be interesting to see what RFK Jr., like, what he even talks about in that atmosphere. I assume it would be a lot of, like, health-related stuff. I've seen a lot of people have hoped for RFK Jr. to be, like, the HHS Secretary, Health and Human Services, due to his background in, like, environmental, but also his background with, like, being in, like, the anti-vax world, or the I don't know, like the healthcare world, I guess. I don't really know if it's fully anti-vax. There's like a lot of complications there. But HHS is a huge department. And also, I don't think RFK Jr. is getting confirmed by the Senate, no matter if it's Democratic or Republican. I think someone's going to have a problem. Enough people are going to have a problem with RFK Jr. to where they don't vote for him. So I'm a little confused as to... I don't think he'd be like a cabinet level secretary. I just don't think he can get approved. I don't know. So he has to go through the Senate, and I mean, if Trump's nominating him, Democrats are going to be against him. If Republicans have the Senate, then maybe he gets through, but I doubt it. Still, I think people are still going to have problems with him. He's still a very, like, liberal person, outside of, like, maybe 3 things they agree on. So I don't know what happens there. Also, the likelihood is probably Trump won't give him anything, because Trump's not, like, why is RFK Jr. trusting Trump?
And if he does, it would be something, like, so insignificant that RFK would just turn it down.
I just don't see it. I don't know why he's over here trusting President Trump. I don't know why he's dropping out. I'm a little upset because the other thing I want to get to real quick before we get to the DNC. So the third-party rules are ridiculous in the U.S. They've been shaped by the Republicans and the Democrats over the last couple of decades, I guess, to really shut them out. But if you get 5% in a national election, you're like party. I guess in this case it would be like the independent. I don't really know what party they call it under. But if you receive 5% in the presidential election, you're eligible for public funds, which is like election funds that you can put towards a campaign, which it makes it easier to like get ballot access, to like find volunteers, to get staff, stuff like that. Things, basic campaign necessities. You get more money, which is important for third-party campaigns that don't have a big machine around them. And that could have made it a little bit more accessible for third-party candidates to make serious bids in the future across the board, which would have been great. I just think it's better to have more options. So it's very upsetting to me that he clearly is not doing that. Maybe he is. Who knows what he does there? Maybe he just withdraws from the swing states. I doubt he's going to do that.
If he withdraws from the swing states, what is the point?
I have no idea. I agree. I don't see why he'd do that. I think that's what I'm saying. I don't know why he'd do that because I don't think he has the best interest of third-party candidates in mind. Clearly, if you do endorse a Republican or a Democrat, then you clearly don't want to have third party succeed. So I think he'll just withdraw. But I mean, I've seen people being like, "Oh, maybe they're coping probably," but it's like, "Oh, he's gonna just withdraw from the swing states, and then he's gonna keep himself on the ballot everywhere else. So he gets the 5%." I'm like, that's not happening. So I don't know.
I don't think he's going to withdraw from the swing state. It's either all or nothing. But it's going to be he withdraws from the entire election.
Yeah, I guess. I think that's what's going to happen. And we're going to keep it up to it's going to happen. The conference is actually, we'll probably be done recording. It'll be starting soon. So
like 45 minutes now.
Yeah. So we'll see how that goes.
If it's still silly or not, we may drop an update.
We might need to, yeah. We'll see. If it gets crazy. If Trump comes out with like RFK and he like makes him CIA director, that'd be crazy. He like promises.
Goodness. I think that would be the funniest thing in the world. Do I think it's gonna happen?
No,
absolutely.
I don't think so. But it would be funny.
But if it did, then again, I said a lot of things were gonna happen. I said Biden was gonna drop out.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, that's true. All right, let's get to the DNC though.
Trump wasn't gonna pick JD Vance.
Yeah. Ooh,
actually, I had no idea who JD Vance was. I said he was gonna pick.
I can't remember who I said. I think I said Youngkin. So,
yeah.
Anyways, let's get to the DNC. So the DNC, the Democratic National Convention, just wrapped up last night. It was from Monday to Thursday. Basically, pretty fun. I mean, like, I think it was much better, much more energetic than the Republican one. Of course, the RNC happened the Monday after Trump was shot in the head. Which I think it's kind of crazy how that's just kind of been forgotten. Like, that dude almost got killed, and everybody kind of forgot about it, which I find kind of impressive, honestly. American memory.
I don't know. I think that's just like modern politics at this point. You know what I mean?
I think when it's around Trump, yeah. I think if it's anybody else, yeah, maybe it's like a recent, like an internet age thing, possibly. Just so much content out there.
So much has happened in less than a month.
Yeah. Biden only dropped out 1 month and 2 days ago. It's wild.
Mm-hmm.
Like on the day. But anyways, DNC. Off the bat, speaking of Biden,
I really enjoyed Biden's speech. I can't even lie to you.
Speaking of Biden, they put him on a Monday. So typically the conventions, they're Monday through Thursday. You put the people you kind of have to like let speak, but you don't want to like have covered by the media on Monday. So on Monday they had Hillary Clinton, maybe the worst presidential candidate the Democrats have had in a long time, AOC, who half the party doesn't like, and then President Biden. Those are the big three. So they put the sitting president, on day one, and then he didn't even stay for the rest of the DNC like typically they do. He went from the DNC straight to California for vacation, apparently. So he was just there for Monday, then he left.
He also put it at the very, very, very last time slot of the day.
Yeah, they had him. They said he was going to do prime time, and he ended up starting at like 10:30. At 10:30 Central. It was wild.
You know Biden doesn't stay up past like 9:30, man. Yeah. This is way past his bedtime.
They kind of said him a failure.
The most recent Biden speeches, bro has been really energetic. Maybe because he knows he doesn't have to run again. So he's just like, he's just really happy.
He's just chilling now.
Man, I can give it my all these past few months so I can go sleep, which he needs it.
That's possible. It's crazy how like they really just humiliated him and then let him walk off and just kind of, all right. It's wild to think of, but it's a fickle game. So Biden didn't say anything of consequence. You could tell he was kind of like, it was kind of ridiculous because he was like talking up like Kamala Harris and everything, or Kamala Harris, and stuff like that. But then he also like tried to like touch on his accomplishments, but you could tell like it's kind of wild to have the president not like to tell the president to kind of talk about his vice president more than himself, which is just kind of like something a politician probably wouldn't like to do. So that did happen. So yeah, Hillary Clinton, Biden, and AOC, the big three over there on Monday. Tuesday was better, I guess. I mean, Tuesday was more. They had themes for every day, but I can't remember what they were. Tuesday they had JB.
I remember looking at the themes, and the themes are basically like they just reworded the same thing.
Yeah,
like
they did. Yeah, they did. There's a lot of freedom.
Tuesday was like for our kids, and then Wednesday was like for our kids' future. Like it was something like that.
Yeah, and there's like a freedom one too, but. Tuesday, whatever Tuesday was, J.B. Pritzker, the governor of Illinois, Big Man Pritzker spoke. Bernie Sanders, senator from Vermont, spoke. who maybe should have had 1 or 2 nominations himself, honestly. Both the Obamas, Barack and Michelle Obama, spoke on Tuesday, and you can talk about more of those. And then also, lastly, I guess his second gentleman, Doug Emhoff, Harris's husband, spoke on Tuesday. So how are the Obama speeches, Cam?
You already know. If Obama's speaking, I'm there. He could be talking about some of the craziest thing in the world, and as soon as Obama opens his mouth, my inner libtard comes out, and I'm like, yes, I will agree. I love Obama. I really did enjoy his speech. It definitely wasn't like his best. And I think there were a lot of Trump jabs, and I get it, man. Like, that's the opponent. But I would have liked to see more of like, this is what I plan to do to help my party's future. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that can be said of everyone. And I think more people leaned more to the Trump jabs than others. And I feel like more people leaned into, this is what I want the party to be. And I would have liked more of, this is what I plan to do with the future of the party. Yeah. And I know they have a plan, right? They're definitely not just coming in here on the heels of anti-Trump, which that's definitely a sentiment.
Well, maybe they do, honestly. Maybe they don't have a plan. I honestly wouldn't be surprised.
Also, I hope to see Kamala Harris in more interviews. I feel like she definitely will be in more.
She hasn't done any.
Sit-down interviews.
She does 0.
I'm telling you, I've been saying this. She's going to do more as soon as she gets the nomination. I don't know why, but I know she will.
Hopefully.
And I feel like she definitely will leading up to the debate. And if she kills it into the debate, she will be on like every single talk show in America the day after. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if she just gets up there and cooks Trump in the debate, best believe the debate, let's say, I can't remember, if the debate's like a Tuesday, that Wednesday, she's going to be on Good Morning America, ABC, NBC, every single station you can think of.
Yeah, probably.
That was also one of my favorite Michelle Obama speeches. She's given.
Michelle Obama was good. I think Obama, it's kind of weird for Obama because I think since 2008, he's been the leader of the party. He doesn't really have to be anymore. Now, like, in theory, Kamala Harris should be the leader of the Democratic Party now. Joe Biden really wasn't ever the leader of the Democratic Party. It really was always Obama. And he's really, I mean, Obama's kind of the reason, him and Nancy Pelosi are the reason that Joe Biden's not president or running for president again. So I wonder if Obama's just going to chill out now. I mean, well, he's been pretty chill since he left, but I wonder if because I didn't watch his speech. I saw clips of it. He didn't seem like super energetic. Michelle Obama's speech was amazing. I thought it was really good. It was funny. But I think Obama, like President Obama, might just be like willing to, I don't know if he's willing, but I think he will be possibly giving up the reins of the leadership to Kamala Harris, which, I mean, makes sense, right? Logically. But we'll see. We'll see. I mean, she's 59. Obama's only 63, which is crazy to me. Yeah, Obama's super, like, still young. Like, I didn't realize he was that young still. So he's, I don't know what he's gonna do. He's probably having some movie deals or something the rest of his life.
Man, he's been doing those weird Netflix movies.
Yeah, that's right. It's true.
As much as I like Obama, that dude did drop one of the worst you've not seen in recent memory. I would say it right now, leave the world behind. Anybody that was on TikTok or Instagram saying, like, this was some premonition, get a job, get a real job, and get offline. That movie sucked.
I remember
of nothing and nonsense.
I remember people getting hype, or like not hype. People were talking about it. Isn't that the one with Mahershala Ali? Him and Ethan Hawke are in that, right?
Yes.
Yeah. See, good cast. Good cast.
That was a star-studded cast for a garbage movie.
Yeah. Anyways, unlucky, but yeah, the DNC not bad. Wednesday, so Governor Tim Walz spoke. Running mate Kamala Harris. His speech. I watched his speech earlier. He was super. They're going to lean really hard into him coaching a high school football team. And again, not just coaching a high school football team, winning a state championship, which actually does mean more. I think, honestly, it's more impressive than a lot of things other people that spoke did, genuinely. But he talked about, he was super, like, the amount of, like, rhetoric that he had around coaching was crazy. He mentioned bipartisanship, too. He had a couple lines where he was talking about he wasn't afraid to reach across the aisle. And I think this one was also super well received. I think this speech was, from the reactions I've seen online and across the people I've been talking to, they really like Tim Walz across the political spectrum. I think he just has a respect because he really just his image of being a guy isn't like it's kind of just like it's stuck, and it's a good thing I think in this scenario. Also, Bill Clinton spoke, and Nancy Pelosi and Pete Buttigieg, but I didn't listen to their speeches. But yeah, did you see Tim Walz?
I saw the Clinton speech.
Okay.
I listened to it, and he was like, "I'm turning 82 this year.
That's crazy.
And I'm still President Trump." That was funny.
Yeah, he's only done one term, so or has he? Yeah, I think so. No, he did 2. Never mind. He is not eligible.
Yeah, he was a 2-term man.
My bad.
Come on, don't put too much back on my man, Bill.
My bad, Bill. Anyways, yeah, so that was the Wednesday. And then Thursday, Kamala Harris spoke. Obviously, I did watch this one. This was like 36 minute long speech. Nothing like Trump's 90-minute boring speech that he gave.
Oh, my goodness. Trump's speeches have gotten worse and worse. And people say that anyone says Trump's not going through mental decline, they're like huffing copium. Huffing copium like galaxy gas.
Yeah, now that Biden is out of the race, it's just like, I mean, it's hard not to look at Trump and be like, dang, bro, you're like old. Because he was kind of hidden, I guess. And that was actually part of the reason RFK was so popular, is because he's still 70, but he's not as old as the other two. And that was a lot of his appeal, actually. So now that that's gone, kind of makes sense he's dropping out.
The more we talk, the more I'm just remembering. He's a nut job. What the heck? That man said he used to he killed a bear.
No, I don't think
in Central Park. He admitted to it.
I don't think he killed the bear though. Did he kill the bear? I think he picked the bear up from the street.
He said he found the bear on the ground, like on
the
road.
Yeah, it was like a road. It was like a road-killed bear. Yeah.
Okay, but someone, like you said, a successful lawyer, he sees roadkill. He's like, yeah, man, I'm going to eat this roadkill. No, that motherfucker killed that bear and then stashed it in Central Park. He has issues.
I will say he has issues. I will say, but he's like a super outdoorsy guy because apparently he does like falconing and stuff, whatever that is. Like he has like birds and all that. So I think he might actually eat the bear. I don't know. He might have eaten the bear.
Does that mean you're going to eat roadkill?
I wouldn't eat roadkill. I remember reading about this. He was like, no, it was funny. He was like, it wasn't that bad. It was like it was like freshly killed. I was like, what? I was like, did you kill it? Maybe you did kill it. I don't know.
To admit that.
That's a good point. I don't know. He admits that is true. That's a crazy thing to admit.
He's admitted to like several crazy things, like willingly. Like no one forced him to. He's just sitting there. He's like, you guys remember that time? Oh well.
Yeah, he's like, oh well.
Play the story.
That's a good point.
I stashed a bear in Central Park. What?
That's a good point. I don't know really what he's up to, but it doesn't matter now, I guess. Anyways, yeah, DNC, Kamala Harris. That's what we're talking about. I don't know how we got on this subject. She talked about, so she mentioned Trump a lot. She was one of the people that you were saying that really went heavy on Trump, which I actually didn't think she had to do. I didn't think her speech was that good, and I'll get into why after I just go through it. Nothing specific from policy, which is traditional for a acceptance speech, for nomination acceptance speech. She would talk about housing a little bit and middle class economics. Nothing specific. She actually did mention strengthening space research and AI research, which I thought was kind of cool because no one talks about space anymore.
Oh my! Thank you, man. This is just literally me going off on side tangents the whole time, but it doesn't matter. The people need to hear this. I'm telling you, if AI restrictions come from Donald Trump posting AI Swifties for Trump pictures on Truth Social, I will be happy. Because first off, AI restrictions needed to be out from the jump.
Yeah.
And Taylor Swift, her people are crazy.
That's true.
They're going to get it done. When I saw, like, Trump's, like, the screenshots of Trump saying, like, I accept Taylor Swift's endorsement of me, and I'm like,
yeah, that was crazy.
That's not Taylor Swift. Why does that look? Is that AI?
That was wild. Yeah, that was crazy. Him doing that is wild. But anyways, she mentioned strengthening space and research in AI. I didn't hear anything about, again, no specific policy pronouncements. She did reaffirm the commitment to NATO that Biden was campaigning on for like the 3 months he was campaigning. Her quote was, "We will stand strong with Ukraine and our NATO allies." Regarding Israel and Palestine, she said that Biden and her are working around the clock, quote unquote, to get a hostage and ceasefire deal. And then she also said that she will always, so the quote is, "I will always stand up for Israel's right to defend itself." Then she said, "But what's going on in Gaza the past 10 months is devastating. The scale of suffering is heartbreaking. And then she said the Palestinian people can realize their right to dignity, security, freedom, and self-determination, which got a big cheer in the convention hall. And that's mainly, so a little bit of background. Apparently the DNC, like the organizers, had kind of been refusing to allow a pro-Palestinian voice, basically, like to speak on the floor, on the stage, which a lot of, if you guys remember what the uncommitted movement was during the primaries, where people would vote for nobody, but they were voting uncommitted as a protest against President Biden's policies in Israel and Palestine in that conflict. They had a couple delegates, and they had they didn't have as big of a protest force as I was expecting. I kind of thought there's going to be something like bigger there, but they were trying to get some things done like that. They didn't get any of their real demands met. It'll be interesting to see how they break down in the election, if they will vote for Harris and Waltz, or not vote at all, or vote for third parties. But there was a big cheer in the hall when that came out. That was said. And then also, really like the big closer, I see a nation that is ready to move forward. That's like the messaging, basically. We're going forward, not back. It's the Democratic messaging.
Yeah, we're not going back.
Yeah, so that's the big messaging. So yeah, that's the Harris speech. And what was I say I was going to get into before? I don't know. But she did speak a lot about Trump. Oh, that's what it was. She spoke a lot about Trump, which I didn't think she had to do, because I don't think there's any point differentiating yourself, because everybody knows you're not President Trump, right? Like, if you're Kamala Harris, if you just hit like some things that are popular, they've hit, like, they've started talking about trying to do controls price gouging legislation, which economically is questionable, I think, but it resonates because people have been paying a lot of money. And it's actually kind of a good way to turn around the conversation on the economy, because if you're talking about the economy, President Trump leads handily in most polls on the economy and immigration, two things that the Democrats struggle with. But if you start talking about, like, you're basically owning up to the problems of the Biden administration. We're saying, okay, we're going to deal with price gouging or whatever, high prices through legislation, which is questionable, like, economically, but people like that idea, right? It's a good idea in the short term. People like that.
In the short term, I think. But also, his price cuts for corporations and the 1%, I think people are starting to get, how do I say this? It's starting to put a bad taste in their mouth. I was never for that.
Yeah, so that's the other thing.
I think they need to be taxed unless it's humanly possible.
That's the other thing. There's the taxes, the tax cuts you're talking about, the Trump's Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, this TCJA. It expires coming up. I think it expires technically in 2026, but so the renegotiation's coming up in 2025. So whoever's in power across the board is going to have a huge say in the future of tax policy for the next, like, at least 10 years, maybe 5-10 years. I think it's 10 years, which is going to be huge for, like, if Kamala Harris does win and she has a Democratic Senate, if they're able to hold the Senate and maybe win back the House or make it close in the House, they can really do some of the stuff that we saw Bernie Sanders talking about in 2016, like taxing billionaires, like their quote-unquote fair share, or lowering taxes on the middle class and the everything like that. If that actually that has a real shot of happening. So this election is like, but I think she should just talk about stuff like that. Like, mentioning price gouging is a winner just because it's popular, it resonates with people. Economic things always resonate. Child tax credit, they hit that a little bit. They didn't mention childcare in the speech last time, but they're talking about it on the trail. Tim Walz is a big purveyor of it.
Like a $6,000 tax credit?
I think they want 5. Yeah, I think it's like 5,000. JD Vance, to JD Vance's credit, the vice president for Trump, the nominee, he also is a very pro-child tax credit senator. He's a very popular senator, and he's also been talking about it, but Trump hasn't. Not that I know of. So that's the problem with being Trump's vice president. What you actually believe, if you're JD Vance, doesn't really matter. Because I think JD Vance is getting a bad rap right now because he says some crazy things. And and like, to be fair, he has gone viral for a lot of things, but he's definitely, like, if you're campaigning with Trump, you can't really overshadow Trump, so he's kind of been pigeonholed. And it's unfortunate for him, but he knew what he was getting into. So that's tough. But yeah, Harris I think not talking about Trump is a better campaign strategy than always speaking about him. Because I don't think people really care. People would just be like, 4 years of Trump was fine. But if you talk about things like price gouging, it's like, oh, okay, you actually have an idea. That you have a specific idea, you know what I'm saying? So I think that's a winner, but we'll see. Any thoughts?
I'm all for price gouging. Wait.
You're all for price gouging?
I am all for, like, bans on price gouging. Sorry, let me. What's my clip stat? I don't know. People keep saying like inflation's bad, even though it's the lowest it's been like since 2021. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but it's been up. It's up. It's
huge corporations saying like, you want to see me raise the price?
Yes, inflation is objectively bad. It's been up 20. I think inflation, it's been up 20% over like 4 years, which is crazy. So it's not like, even though inflation numbers are going down, technically, they're still going up. Like, we're still seeing increases.
They're still bad from like...
Yeah, we're not seeing deflation.
2021, they're at its lowest point, which is still high.
Well, their lowest point of increase. They're still increasing, but at a lower rate. Exactly. So, like, you're not seeing actual deflation, which we're likely not going to see at the way that our policy works. People spend too much money to ever see deflation at a government level. If they stop printing money, then maybe the economy fixes itself over time. But the problem is no one knows how long it takes, and they have elections to win. So that's the issue with fixing the economy. People are scared to lose their seats. But yeah, I mean, I don't really know. Any other thoughts? What do you feel? Okay, prediction for the debate, I guess. We'll probably do another episode previewing the debate, but quick early prediction for the debate.
The prediction for the debate. Okay. 1. Kamala Harris is going to wipe the floor with Trump. Okay? That's 1. 2. Kamala Harris is going to wipe the floor with Trump. There is only one, there's 2 outcomes. Well, there's a third outcome, I guess. And it's if she somehow gets body slammed by Trump as a prosecutor, as a man that has committed crimes, and has committed tax fraud multiple times. If she doesn't go up there with just a fat list of all his crimes and just starts reading them out, she lost in my eyes. She has every right, every opportunity to win. She's younger. She's a fresh candidate. She's a fresh face. She's literally a prosecutor that can prosecute for his crimes. She has the momentum, which Trump has not had since 2016. She has crazy momentum. It's going to be all eyes on her. This is not a Trump versus Kamala. This is Kamala versus herself. This is Kamala versus Harris. I think she'll be fine. Truly. If she can go in there, and if she does, she will then go on, like I said, to be on every single talk show, every single radio show, every single niche podcast, specifically the PV Political Podcast. She will be on this election cycle. I put that on Eshan.
I'm cooked. All right, my predictions for the debate.
That's my prediction.
Yeah,
she has every right to come out of this debate getting more supporters and looking better than she does right now.
I do have other breaking news, actually. James Spader is returning as Ultron for the Vision series. So there's that, by the way. I just saw that on Twitter. I'm just trying to see if there's any new RFK news.
A Vision series?
Apparently. But James Spader, who's a great actor.
So cool.
Hey, but James Spader's a good actor, and he's good as Ultron, so we'll see. Anyways, my predictions for the debate, I do think Kamala Harris is going to win. I think Trump still doesn't accept the fact that he still thinks that Biden's going to come up on that stage on the debate. He doesn't accept that Kamala Harris is like his opponent yet, which is bad for him because, the election's like 75 days away. Also, it's kind of concerning if he hasn't made that pivot yet in his mind because the election is 75 days away and it's been like a month already. So like if you can't, fix your mentality, if you can't fix your mental, it's like bad. Not good. But yeah, I think Kamala Harris is going to do well. If I will say the last debate she was in, she got absolutely mopped by Tulsi Gabbard. But she seems much more confident now that she's been given a whole campaign in a box. And she's basically, if she did nothing, like from here on to election day, she'd win. I think that confidence is really helping her right now. And I think she's going to do well. I think hopefully we see her finally do a debate. Because an interview, because we haven't seen her do an interview yet. A real sit-down interview. I think she's actually probably answered.
I feel like she's either gonna have one before the debate or immediately after, and I would really like to see both.
She has to do at least one. We need to see as many as possible from both of them. Trump does interviews. Trump on the Theo Vaughn podcast was actually kind of interesting. I don't really listen to Theo Vaughn much, but I checked it out, and it was pretty interesting. So we need to see Kamala Harris do some unscripted interviews. I think she did one with Charlemagne once, and it was really bad. Like when she was running for president.
Okay, she picked Charlemagne. He is known for saying crazy stuff. I'll never.
No, but also Charlemagne. That's the thing. Charlemagne, he's not afraid to ask questions though. He'll get into it. That's the crazy thing. And I think she left early. It was like a phone interview. I think she just hung up. So hey, maybe we should do it again. We need to see some interviews from her, but I think she's gonna beat. I think she's in good position to beat Trump. And also, if y'all go to pppolitical.com, I released the first presidential forecast of the year. We have Harris leading Trump 287 to 251 on electoral votes. Tilt margins in 4 states. We'll be releasing those every couple of weeks. You can check those out on pppolitical.com. Cam, where can everybody find you? Do you need some more followers? What are you getting on?
Man, follow me on Instagram at Cameron Cummings. I'm gonna change that Instagram handle to something cool.
All right.
Whenever I think of something, I don't have a creative bone in my body, but one day it will be changed. Everybody go follow Eshan.
Do it.
And
Eshan.Pokhrel.
Follow me on LinkedIn. Make sure you get at me on LinkedIn. I got my LinkedIn.
Get those connections up. Get those connections up. If you guys have ideas for Cam's name, put them in the comments or DM him at his currently lame Instagram handle. Mine's also just my name, so I don't know. But yeah, with that, we'll be back next week. We're in election season, like officially election season. Isn't that fun?
We also may drop a special update in maybe tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll see.
We're feeling silly.
We might need to.
Because if Trump pulls out RFK, we're 100% dropping a podcast tomorrow.
If he pulls out RFK Jr., we should do it. We should show.
No, not should. We will. We will.
No, I'm saying we should find get the video. We should do a video podcast if that happens. We'll see. And just play the video. I don't know. We'll figure it out. All right, but thank y'all for listening. Your reaction. Live reaction.
Yeah, we do a live reaction podcast.
The PP Political Podcast reacts to RFK endorsement. That's going to be the title if that's what happens. But yeah, okay. It's about to start 12 minutes, so we're going to go ahead and head out and then maybe watch that. I might watch it. We'll see. But yeah, I'm Eshan Pokhrel.
I'm Cameron Cummings.
And goodbye.